Knight Rider returning 5 years after it ended should have been awesome, especially with a cool new script and Hasselhoff, Moore and Daniels all returning. KITT was still a black Trans Am, Devon had a daughter, Michael walked away from Flag, and a new supercar was going to destroy KITT. But 10 days before filming, NBC threw out the script and went in a total different direction. This is the original plan for Knight Rider 2000 and how it was ruined.
For 4 years they rode together. A man who did not exist. Now, in the year 2000.
Glenn A. Larson built the original series around the simple idea: one man can make a difference. Michael and KITT traveled from place to place helping people, and over the span of 4 years, we got some of the greatest entertainment TV could offer back then.
With all due respect, you aren't possibly considering. Oh my word, you are.
This included episodes like Goliath, where we meet Garth Knight, Michael's evil twin, and KITT vs. Car, where Car somehow is still alive after exploding in the Season 1 episode Trust Doesn't Rust.
Turn away.
Of course, we got some stinkers like you do with all series, especially in Season 4, with episodes like Voodoo Night and Night Song. Even so, the black Trans Am, the red scanner, and the theme became a huge part of 80s television. Then, in 1986, Knight Rider ended, but people still wanted more. Hasselhoff wanted to come back as well, and for around 3 years, he kept telling his agents they should do another Knight Rider, but Universal and NBC kept saying no one's interested. Then, one day, Hasselhoff ran into NBC president Brandon Tartikoff in a shopping mall. He told him people around the world were still asking about Knight Rider and that he thought it was the time to bring it back. 3 or 4 days later, Hasselhoff got a call telling him NBC wanted a 2-hour television movie.
It could be extremely dangerous.
The future is here, and it's in big trouble.
They betrayed me.
Let's do something about that. Your first adventure of the 21st century is coming tonight, and now.
The production initially brought in writer Michael Sloane, who tried to keep it much closer to the original series. In his version, Michael had walked away from Flag 15 years earlier after a mission went horribly wrong. KITT was wrecked, innocent people were killed, including Devon's wife Annie. Michael ends up blaming himself and disappears, and for 15 years he stays away from Flag and keeps having nightmares about a man with a Cobra tattoo who actually caused the attack. Meanwhile, Devon spends 19 months in Moscow building another Flag base. When he comes back to the States, a new character called Thomas Kleinman is running Wilton Knight Industries and has pretty much taken over the foundation. Then we get to KITT. He's been shoved into storage for years, parts of his circuitry have burned out, and he's barely operational. Kleinman had also hired a computer genius called Jack Capra to build a new vehicle for the Pentagon called the K-72. This was supposedly faster than KITT, covered in armor and packed with weapons. Devon then meets up with his daughter Kyle, who works as a mechanic at the Foundation and has spent the last 2 months working on the K-72. She tells him Kleinman plans to use KITT as the K-72's final target during a weapons test and doesn't think KITT stands a chance. So she tells Devon they need Michael Knight. In the meantime, Devon goes off to try and stop the test, while Kyle finds Michael and tries to bring him back. He initially wants nothing to do with Flag, but when Kyle tells him KITT is about to be destroyed, he changes his mind. Michael arrives back at the Foundation while Devon is still trying to stop the test, but by then they're out of options. So Michael and Devon race to the test site just as the K-72 is sent after KITT. Michael then manages to get behind the wheel of KITT for the first time in 15 years, and the two of them try to escape, but the K-72 is too fast and too powerful. It chases them through the desert and hits KITT with a laser torpedo, breaking his axle. Michael then gets out and jumps onto the K-72 and tries to disable it from the inside. but the vehicle ejects him out and fires another torpedo that blows KITT to pieces. Of course, Michael refuses to give up on KITT, so he, Devon and Kyle steal whatever's left of him from a Foundation warehouse and take the parts back to Kyle's basement. Now Kleinman is already planning to have the K-72 prototype hijacked. He uses a group of mercenaries already working for him to steal it during a transfer. One of those mercenaries is Charles Bracken, the man with the Cobra tattoo from Michael's nightmares. Then Michael starts rebuilding KITT, while Devon is then put in charge of security when the K-72 is being moved to another test site. Kleinman's men then set up a fake roadblock and send the convoy down a detour. Devon notices the soldiers aren't wearing the right insignia, but by then it's too late. The attack starts. Devon is badly wounded but still grabs a gun and fights back. Then Bracken finds him. Devon sees the Cobra tattoo just before he shoots and kills him. But Kleinman's plan still goes wrong. When the mercenaries try to take the K-72, the car attacks them and drives off on its own. After Devon's funeral, the K-72 contacts Capra, and he realizes the hijackers never took control of it, and the K-72 tells him he believes Kleinman arranged the hijacking and starts hunting him. During this, the K-72 sees a man threatening a woman and takes matters into its own hands by blowing his car up. That's when Capra finally admits he can't control it, so he joins Michael and Kyle and helps finish rebuilding KITT. They end up giving KITT a new silver body, new electronics, and more weapons and turn him back on. At the same time, Kleinman wants the K-72 back, but he can't find it, so he has Kyle kidnapped. But the K-72 already knows where he is and contacts KITT. It tells him Kyle and Capra have been kidnapped, gives Michael directions to the estate and tells him to rescue them while it deals with Kleinman. On the way there, KITT finally tells Michael the mission 15 years earlier wasn't his fault. KITT had actually malfunctioned. His turbo circuits failed and his windshield had developed cracks, and he tells him if he'd been working properly, they would have dodged Bracken's grenade and escaped. Then the K-72 moves on the estate and starts attacking it from the outside, while Michael and KITT go in after Kyle and Capra. Kleinman tries to use Kyle as a hostage, but she gets away, so that leaves him on his own, and the K-72 ends up killing him. After that, KITT and the K-72 end up having their own fight. After a back and forth, the K-72 makes a decision. It records a message for Capra saying it knows too much and sooner or later someone else is gonna try and control it, so it believes it has to be destroyed. KITT ends up leading it into an old mine, drives inside, cuts through the ground and comes up underneath it, flipping the K-72 over and exposing its vulnerable part. Then the K-72 actually tells KITT to fire while it can't fire back, and KITT destroys it with a laser torpedo. Michael then finds Bracken inside the house and recognizes the Cobra tattoo and finally comes face to face with the man who caused him so much pain. They end up fighting each other until Michael kills him. With the K-72 gone and KITT fixed, he's back to his glory days. Meanwhile, Michael is offered the chance to come back, but not as a flag operative, but to take Devon's old job. He doesn't turn it down. He says he's gonna take time and think about it and tells Kyle he's not gonna be alone because he's taking a friend. So he gets into KITT, tells him they're going on a vacation, and the two of them drive off together. That was the script they were about to shoot. Then around 10 days before filming, NBC threw it out and Rob Hedden came in to write the script for the movie we actually got. Of course, this was nothing like the script that I've just gone through. It became a movie in the future where firearms are not allowed, prisoners are cryogenically frozen, and one of KITT's memory chips ends up in the brain of police officer Sean McCormick, who basically was Michael Knight's replacement. When Knight Rider 2000 premiered in May 91, it pulled in huge numbers and ended up in the top 4. That wasn't bad for something that the LA Times had already written off before it even aired, saying Hasselhoff was back, the story moved into the year 2000, but that's probably all you need to know. The audience didn't care though, and Hasselhoff was already talking about either keeping Knight Rider going through more television movies or carry on as a series with Sean, Maddock and KITT left as the new team. NBC though never ordered anything, as Hasselhoff was going back to Baywatch and Susan Norman didn't test well with audiences. Of course, this didn't stop Universal from trying again in 1994 with Knight Rider 2010, although this was Knight Rider only by name. There was no Michael Knight, no Devon, no Flag, and no KITT. Instead, it was set in a post-apocalyptic future and followed Jake McQueen, a smuggler who eventually puts the consciousness of a dead woman into his car. And of course, it was a failure. Then, 3 years later, Universal tried again. This time, instead of 1 man and 1 car, Team Knight Rider gave us 5 operatives with 5 different cars. It failed and only lasted 22 episodes. Then, almost another decade passed before NBC decided, let's try again. This time, things looked a bit more promising. The 2008 television movie introduced Justin Bruening as Mike Tracer, the son of Michael Knight, alongside a new KITT built into a Ford Mustang. David Hasselhoff even returned at the end of the movie in a cameo as Michael Knight. The result, nearly 13 million people tuned in to watch the TV movie, and NBC ordered a weekly series. But that's when they started making changes and made it into a Transformers Viper ripoff and combined it as a Ford advertisement. The result of that, people weren't watching. NBC realized there was a problem and tried to change direction halfway through the season. But by then, it was too late, and NBC cut the season from 22 episodes to 17, and after those episodes aired, Knight Rider disappeared again. After hearing all of that on the surface, it seems they all failed for different reasons. But deep down, they all had the exact same problem. The idea of bringing back Knight Rider was never the problem. The problem was they kept changing things that made Knight Rider work in the first place. The original was simple. 1 man can make a difference. 1 man, 1 car, someone needed help. And then you've got the other massive part, which was Michael and KITT themselves. KITT wasn't just a piece of technology. In here, he was a character, he was a personality, and he was best mates with his driver. That relationship is what made Knight Rider. And every time they tried bringing it back, they seemed to move further away from that. Now, going back to Knight Rider 2000, in my opinion, it's probably the best out of the Knight Rider spin-offs or revivals. Of course, I think the Knight Rider 2008 movie was good to start with, but the series ruined it. It had massive potential, maybe as much potential as Knight Rider 2000. But again, they're very similar to this. They ruined it. Thanks for watching. Please like, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.